Welcome back, or welcome to a video. If you've never been here before, hopefully you'll come back, I don't know. But today we're gonna talk about a simple concept of getting over the anxiety of getting into golf as a beginner. Because I got into golf around 2 years ago as a grown-ass man, and it's hard to go into something, especially a sport, especially a very skill-oriented sport like this, as an adult, and suck at something all over again. Right? A lot of people don't like to suck at things, and that's why they don't take chances in life, except for golf. Golf, most people suck, which is good news because you, as a beginner, will also suck. Let's talk about how to get over the anxiety and some of the mistakes or, easy ways to get into golf straight away. And things that I wish I knew straight off the bat when I was getting into golf a few years ago, 2 years ago. Well, step one is you're going to want to build up a little bit of confidence with your golf clubs before you actually go into the course. Why? Because if you don't have confidence with your clubs or hitting the ball forward at least 100 yards, which you can watch another video on, you're going to have a very difficult time managing your anxiety and a lot of the negative thoughts when it comes to actually playing golf, right? Because once you start adding more elements such as, oh, now I'm keeping score, or I don't want to ruin pace of play, or I'm looking for my ball in the woods too often. There's going to be a lot of negative thoughts associated with that you are going to have, whether you like it or not, until you overcome the adjustment period of, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing on the golf course, which won't take too long. I remember for me, my friends took me out to golf for the first time after I said no for many years, and eventually I was like, all right, let's try some golf. And I really enjoyed being outside and the challenge of golf. So then I started playing golf on my own, and how did I do that? I went to the driving range to actually build up somewhat of a golf swing. Now, the good news is most people aren't gonna have a good golf swing ever, including you. But you can actually work on a golf swing and just really focus on where is the ball going, and is the ball going where I want it? Do not focus on distance. That's a mistake that people still make many years later. But I remember me, I really focused on distance a lot because that's what people do at the driving range. But you go to the driving range, you focus on distance, and the ball is going left, it's going right, it's going up, down, it's going every single direction. So you really want to focus on accuracy because that's going to help you when it comes down to actually playing golf on the golf course. If you're accurate on the golf course, you will keep up a better pace of play than 90% of players. You don't need to be a long hitter because, especially when you actually get on the golf course, we'll talk about the tees you should play from, but you're not going to have that far to actually play. So if you can learn how to hit a shot around 100 yards, you're going to be good to go for a very long time on the golf course. So just take out some clubs, take out clubs below probably like a 7-iron, I don't know, it's up to you, and just really work on hitting the ball forward. From there, the distance will come over time once you learn how to actually hit the ball a little bit more confidently. But anyway, focus on accuracy, focus on getting a little bit more confident with your golf club. And then from there, you can actually work on moving onto the golf course, if that makes sense. You know what? Also, I want to hear from you guys. How did you get into golf? Maybe, I know a lot of people have been golfing since they were kids. I really want to hear from the people that, got into golf as adults too. What brought you into golf? I just read a comment the other day of somebody that is, I presumed it was an adult. I think they mentioned their age in there, but they played golf for the first time, and they talked about how, managing their mental health and some of the things that I talked about on this channel really helped them, keep their cool on the golf course, and they had a really good time for it because of it. So that inspired me to make this video. If that guy is watching, comment below, but I want to hear from you guys about when did you get into golf and how did you get over, the initial anxiety of playing golf? Anyway, let's move on. So now, you know what the clubs do. We're gonna kind of step over some of the very basics of, just the golf swing, because I don't really talk about that, but you know what the clubs do. You have a little bit of confidence in your clubs. You can move the ball forward on the golf course. You can hit it forward and you're good to go. If you really have anxiety or you really have never played golf by yourself, then really you want to look for a tee time, either on the course's website or on Golf Now or something like that. and look for something that has 1 to 4 people, because then you could just book a solo tee time. The chances that you get paired up with somebody, I don't know, it depends on the day of the week, right? I will go out on a weekday when I have a little bit of a break because of my job, and I am my own boss, so I can do that. But I will look for a tee time that says 1 to 4, and I will go out and I will just play. You know, if you book a solo tee time, you're probably not going to get paired, but maybe you will. But if you're getting paired with another solo player, they probably want to keep to themselves and don't really want to talk. So you have that going for you, where somebody else booking a solo tee time is probably not going to speak with you that much. And if they do, great. I met an actual billionaire once by going out and playing by myself. He owns property right across from, I think it was the World Trade Center. Well, you know, from where the old World Trade Center was. Anyway, point is, the guy was wealthy, and it was just a very random local golf course. So that's the other thing that I would recommend, is find your local municipal golf course if you're not familiar with golf, because those are usually the ones with the cheaper cost. You know, they could be 20 bucks, they could be 30 bucks, they could be 15 bucks. But the good news is you can go there and you can mess up, and they're probably usually a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more casual than a lot of other golf courses, and there's probably a lot of other beginners there. There are probably good players there too, but it's just a very good place to learn how to play golf on the course. And that's what I did when I was starting out. I went to my local municipal course and I just played. Oops. So that's what I would recommend for you. Try to find a cheap tee time, solo, 1 person, or hey, go with your friends and they will instruct you. But if you don't have your friends to go with, then find something at a solo tee time at your local municipal course and start to play. And I'll talk a little bit more about getting actually into the golf course and getting over some of the mistakes that a lot of people make straight off the bat. But I know there's a lot of overthinking with showing up to a new golf course, especially as a solo golfer, that I did. So trying to get over that is the first hurdle that I got better at. So if you show up to the driving range and that actually has a course too, then you will get over, you know, you'll get familiar with some of the faces at the course, which will make it a little bit easier, ideally, when you actually go out to play for the first time or the first many times. Let's talk a little bit about taking it from the tee shot. So most people, probably 90% of people, are gonna walk up to the tee with the driver in their hand and swing as hard as they can. Which, I mean, if you are getting into golf, you can do that because you probably shouldn't be keeping your score or really worried about your score. Keep your score, just know it's a number. You don't really need to worry about trying to keep that number low as of now. You just need to get familiar with playing golf. But you can get up there and you can hit your driver, and most likely it's gonna go out of bounds, which is fine because we play for the good shots a lot of the times early on. And if it goes straight, it feels really good. And did not go straight. Nice little draw though. But if it goes straight, it's really good. If it goes out of bounds, do not feel bad because you're not good enough for the driver to go where you want it to go yet. So what you want to do is then you can either drop it around 150 yards. It's usually a good little milestone. Or you can drop it with the best player, if you're playing with somebody else, the best player that hit the best tee shot. And he'll just say, hey, I'll drop with you. Or drop with your partner if you're riding in a cart together. But if I'm playing by myself and I really hit a bad tee shot, you can hit another one if the course is empty, or just drop it up around 150 yards, because that will give you a good iron distance into the green, and then you also probably have a wedge shot into it as well, which is good practice for you. And that's what you need. You need practice. So don't really try to hit a perfect tee shot every single time. And if you don't hit a good tee shot, don't re-tee it and hit another one, unless the course is empty. Because then you're just kind of wasting time and you're gonna add a lot of pressure onto yourself to actually, you know, succeed, with hitting a tee shot. Another thing that I would advise is if you have the opportunity and the physical capability to walk the golf course, you should walk the golf course. Mainly for the reason that you can get much more familiar with the golf course. You're allowed a lot more freedom to go find your balls in the woods, or if it's a swampy area, or if it's a hole where you can't actually drive the cart, then it's going to at least free you up a lot to do a lot more practice shots. And the whole reason to getting into golf, first few rounds are going to be practice rounds, not scoring rounds. If you don't know what that means, I say it in my other videos, but essentially you're just out there, you can keep a score, but it's really with the idea that I'm going to practice a few different things. So if I'm practicing some tee shots, well, you can't really practice tee shots too much, but I can hit a few tee shots and then I can go find the wall. I can go find the balls because I can walk. If I'm walking, I hit it into a bunker, I can drop a shot behind the bunker and also hit one from the bunker because I have the freedom of all my stuff is right there. I don't need to go back to the cart to go get a different golf club, more golf balls, whatever it is. Everything is right there. So I can just take the freedom of knowing all my shit is right there with me right at the same time. So that's why I would suggest walking when you are getting into golf. The other thing that I would recommend is after, say, you're dropping it around 150 yards out, you can hit 1, 2, maybe even 3 shots depending on how busy it is, right? But hit a shot. If you hit it bad, which you probably will, just hit another one, drop another ball and hit another shot. You're not going to play both of those balls unless it's an empty course, but you can easily try different things. See if your swing is actually working. Oh, look at that shot. See if your swing is actually working and actually just practice your swing and practice aiming at a smaller real target. And then go from there, right? So the practice round is just to get a feel for practicing around the course. And then from there, you can drop a ball maybe 100 yards out. You can drop a ball 50 yards out. You can do whatever you want, but just allow yourself the freedom to say, hey, I'm going to try some new things. One of the things that I would say you don't want to do is start to get too frustrated. Look at that shot. Oh, that's terrible. Start to get too frustrated with the results of your golf game at this point. Why? Because you have not built up the skill to actually play golf on the course that well. You can get very good at the driving range and still it does not translate onto the golf course because the golf course is a whole different beast. It comes in a lot more variables on the golf course than there does on the driving range, such as the lies are going to be different. You're going to hit into the rough. You're going to have bunkers that come into play. The putting, the greens are going to be different. Stopping it on a green is going to be much different than stopping it out there on, a driving range. So if I'm hitting a shot where I'm 100 yards out, if I don't know how to actually spin the ball, which you probably won't know how to, well, then my ball is going to land on the green and just roll out. So that's going to be a lot different than hitting a 100-yard shot on the range where it just stops in the rough pretty much immediately. So just get out there and get familiar and get practicing until you are ready to actually have a little bit of a practice round. And by a practice round, I mean a scoring round. But the whole idea of the first few rounds is really working on getting over some of the anxiety around the golf course. And a lot of the anxiety is the initial, how do I actually book a time? And how do I allow myself to go play by myself? And then 2, actually getting on the course and allowing yourself to make mistakes. Let's talk about a little bit more about, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of busier course and some of the anxiety about playing a little bit quickly. Because I know that's an anxiety that I had when I was starting out. One of the things that most people still get anxious about, whether you are a seasoned veteran or you are brand new to golf, is pace of play. And if you are new to golf, pace of play should be one of your focuses without sacrificing most of your round. What I mean by that is you also paid for a round, so you don't want to hit one shot, it's a bad shot, and then you immediately just give up on the hole. That's not fair to you, but it's also not fair to yourself and to everyone else if you are hitting 4 or 5 shots, taking 16 practice swings, and actually taking 1 minute per swing. You don't want to do that, right? Which is why I say walk, because then you can drop a few balls and you can easily just hit many cheap golf balls that you will probably be hitting. I remember I bought nitro golf balls for the first almost 2 years, and now I moved on to Kirkland. Wow, what was that? So you want to allow yourself, come on, man. You want to allow yourself enough time to play the hole for your comfort level and your skill level. So if I am hitting tee shots into the woods every single time, hit 2 or 3 tee shots. It's gonna slow down way too much and then you won't get enough shots doing other things around the course. So if you realize that you are slowing down the game, then start to drop with the best player out of the people that you were playing with, or just, like I said earlier, just move the ball up to run 150 yards or 100 yards out and then play from there. If you have people that are right on your ass and you have people right in front of you, you don't really want to worry about it. Ooh. Good shot. You don't really want to worry about it if you have people right on your ass and people that are right in front of you, because there's nothing you can do. I'm right up on the people in front of me. I can even hit a few shots because I know I can't move forward much more than I actually am. If I have nobody in front of me besides, or like there's a gap in between me and the person behind me, then I have the opportunity to either let them play through. You can just wave them ahead and say, hey, come, play ahead of me. If I'm gonna play bad, I might as well play bad at my pace, at a comfortable pace, without slowing anyone down and without rushing. If you're slow and if people are starting to yell at you, well, then you're gonna have a bad time. And then it's also gonna turn you off from actually playing golf anymore. And getting into golf is all about having fun. I mean, that's the whole point of golf anyway. But you have to remember that no one was good at golf when they first started. Comment below what kind of anxieties that you may have still about playing golf if you're a beginner, or what you were really worried about in the beginning, while playing golf as well. Those are, I think, the biggest things that I was really worried about when I first started off. Comment below on if you're a beginner, if you're getting into golf, and some of the fears, or comments on those other comments with other people. And I'll talk to you next time. Hopefully the ending of this video actually came out, so, we'll see.